Sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of thing.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel it!
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry, that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
There's the funds.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
He's announcing a catalog, everybody! Hey, right on! Give him a round of applause! Come on, give him a round of applause! You can't afford a home. You might end up in a tent. Your rent is doubled, but hey, you've got a brand new catalog.
When I'm Prime Minister, I will keep my promises. Now, another promise, let me try it again.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody. We need to trigger an axe the tax election as soon as possible.
We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here.
Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to a special live stream here on the channel. We had to do a live stream tonight because last night was absolutely crazy. It was on fire. How we had so much cowbell. It was crazy, guys. Pierre Poilievre's rally, 15,000 strong, hanging out last night south of Edmonton and Nisku to see Pierre Poilievre essentially come out and just show how big his PP rallies.
And we're only estimating 11,000.
11,000 registered to come to the rally, 15,000 in attendance. You could almost fill, just to put perspective on this, guys, a little bit of perspective. Let's take a look at that. Calgary Saddledome houses 19,000 viewers, 19,000 onlookers. Pierre Poilievre bringing in 15,000, almost filling Calgary Saddledome Arena. Now, that being said, that's larger than any rock concert, because if you were to do a concert in the Saddledome, they
don't
usually
fill every seat.
No, they fence off the back quarter of the dome so that you can only see the stage. So Pierre Poilievre essentially having a larger capacity than the average rock concert last night. Absolutely mind-blowing. And then, unfortunately, as we were nearing the grounds, you guys, the stream was cut off. There was too much steel inside the building. And unfortunately, good old Fringe couldn't find a vantage point to record the stream as I said we were going to do. Unfortunately, look, I'm going to show you guys the crowd sizes.
It was crazy.
The crowd size,
stop.
absolutely insane, guys. Let's get to a roll call first. Let's see who's joining us tonight, because I felt bad last night we couldn't see the chat. I felt bad we were going to do a giveaway on last night's stream as well. Unfortunately, we didn't even get there because the stream got cut off. So tonight we'll do a giveaway. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, get those thumbs ups on the screen. Hit the like button, not in the chat. Hit the like button down below the video, right below here. Hit that like button. and join the Patriots Club. If you are not yet a member of the Patriots Club, you are not applicable to the draw. We always do the draw for those who support us via membership. So if you're a part of the Patriots Club, you're in the draw tonight. We will do a random draw at the end of the stream. One of you is going to win your choice of any item from the Unacceptable Fringe shop. So make sure you jump in. Let's get a good old roll call going on, guys. I'll get to who I can, and then we're going to move on to the stream. Matt West saying, out of Lucky Lake, Saskatchewan, welcome into the stream. We got Don coming in from Grand Prairie. We got Doris coming in from Acton, Ontario. Welcome in. Got Gina joining us once again from Saskatchewan. Vikings chat reports coming in from Winnipeg. All sorts joining us from Scarborough, Southwest. Welcome in. It's good to see you here. We got Mark from Lloydminster. We've got Shauna from Medicine Hat. Justin in from Onaway, Alberta. Welcome in. Queen Esther from Essex, Ontario. Welcome in. We got Tim coming in from Winnipeg. OCD from Vavenby. Welcome in. We got Jay Peterson saying, hey, from the Grove. OAO chiming in saying, you need to go buy some of those Robert De Niro lift shoes. Let me tell you something. I am not the tallest guy on earth, all right? But let me tell you something. God makes everybody perfect. Some of you just took longer than others, okay? I'm not getting lift shoes. Welcome in. Derek's joining us on the couch from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Welcome in. Shelly is joining us from Ontario. Welcome in. We've got Hazel coming in from Lloyd. We've got Terry from Hamilton, Ontario. Katie saying, my daughter and grandson sent me a picture of themselves with you. That's amazing. I must have shook about 500 people's hands last night and taken photos and had chats with people. It was absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
We're going to get to all of that tonight. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to rewatch Pierre's entire rally because, again, I couldn't upload the video, but good news, Pierre was nice enough to do so. So we'll go through that tonight bit by bit and dissect what was said during that rally. You guys are going to be a part of the electricity. It's going to be great. Let's continue on. Kathy coming in from Salmon Arm, BC. We've got King Cobra coming in from Florida. Welcome in. Cabron Tax Carson, Puerto Vallarta coming in. Ready to fund a draw tonight for helping Tamara Leach. So that means we'll do 2 draws tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to Cabron Tax Carson for showing his support for Tamara. So, guys, join the Patriots Club. All Patriots are entered in the draw for tonight's giveaway.
Yeah.
In order to be a part of the Patriots Club, you have to hit the join button after you hit subscribe and get yourself a membership. Welcome into everybody. Maggie in from Calgary, Sean from St. Mary's, Ontario. We've got Ingrid and Charlie joining us from Okotoks. Welcome in. Good to see you here. We've got Mark coming in from Hamilton, Ontario. Sith Lord coming in from Montreal. Brad coming in from Brighton, Ontario. Welcome in. Katie from Saskatchewan. And Darren from Spruce Grove saying it's a lovely evening. Welcome into everybody. Again, guys, this stream is going to be amazing. It's going to be everything you guys missed last night. Round 2, Pierre's rally. Absolutely crazy. Let's get into what happened last night. If you guys didn't see the footage, which, where were you? The footage was absolutely unreal. Take a look here. Pierre's rally. This is the crowd. This is the crowd from a vantage point. Marty up north took a video of this. I didn't actually run into him at the venue. As you can tell, look at the floor. It's packed. Absolutely packed. Let's hit the old play button. Take a look at all the people in this rally for Pierre Poilievre. Isn't that absolutely nuts? No smoke, no mirrors, nobody fooling anybody, no looped videos. There it is, a complete shot of the inside of that rally.
You saw a lot. It was a long walk for you, and you saw a lot of people coming in, and there was a lot of like you had to park really far down. You were there an hour and a half before it started.
I was there almost 2 hours before the rally started, and I had to walk over half an hour to get to the venue, just to go inside.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely nuts. And people were parking further than that towards the end. In fact, when I left, people were still walking toward the rally. It was crazy, guys. Let's I want to show a funny clip of Pierre from today. Because it's in regards to the rally. It's one that we got to show. It's one we got to talk about. Pierre was questioned about the rally. And rightfully so. Pierre should be proud of what went down last night in Alberta. His home province. Here we go. A reporter asks, does size matter? And Pierre Poilievre laughs it off. Let's get something straight. Size matters here, and you can't deny how large Pierre's PP events his rallies really are. Do you see what I did there? I put in a tweet. Let's take a look at the video that the pleb posted here with a reporter asking Pierre about the rally. It doesn't get any better than this, guys. Let's take a listen.
How did you like our rally last night?
Well, I wanted to ask about your rallies.
Thank you.
And whether size matters. I actually want to know.
I love how he chuckles as soon as size matters. Just so you guys know, Mark Carney is hanging out in Calgary tonight.
Oh, that's not going to be a good one.
And I believe, I'm going to double check what Marty up north posted, because he, believe it or not, he's there to try and bomb Mark Carney's rally. But Marty up north, I think he said it holds somewhere around 900 people or something like that at the venue. And of course, there isn't going to be more than that. We know that. But let's get back to Pierre. Let's take a look into what Pierre had to say.
Know about your rallies and what your strategy is and who you're talking to, because you bring up things like woke mob, Century Initiative, bulldozing the CBC. I'm exaggerating, but getting rid of CBC HQ. At what point are you just talking in an echo chamber to people who already feel that way, or do you feel like these are broadening the tent of support to liberal or undecided voters to get them on board with your campaign?
I think it's pretty broad. I think how many people do you think we had last night?
Thousands.
Well, that's pretty obvious. I think you can be more precise than that.
I don't. I mean, the party said 10,000 registered. There's reports of 15. I really can't say.
One last question: when was the last time we had a rally that big in Canada?
I don't know. I've never been to a political rally that big. I don't think.
You know a lot about politics.
Well,
you're a very well-informed person. I know that if there were a bigger rally than that, you would know about it. I think so. But I think it was pretty incredible. Were any of you there? Yes. Magic, eh? Wow. Incredible.
Now, Pierre has every right to strut that amazing, amazing rally ahead of everybody.
That was awesome. That was priceless.
North 49 from the $2 super chat. We are not a small fringe minority anymore. Absolutely not. Let's take a look at Marty up north. Let's see what Marty had to post. Because Marty posted from the event. Here he is at the Carney event in Calgary. Now, this is just 1 minute ago. Now, how many people look like they're there in comparison? This is funny that this just popped up. Let's take a look.
So excited to be there.
Doesn't the room just look electric, folks? Doesn't it look awesome?
It's so alive.
How the cock of the walk, baby. Look at that. Look, he's got Canada flags all over. He's even copying Pierre. Oh my God. And look at it. There's like what? 100 people? No, there's more than 100 people there, but come on. Come on, guys.
You're not looking at 1,000, that's for sure. Let alone 15,000.
Oh, I'm so glad Marty posted that beforehand. So here's what he put down here. At the Carney rally by McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the Red and White Club has a 900-person capacity. The security is 10 times what Pierre had. Private guards, cops, RCMP, and hundreds of volunteers. Location was only revealed to those who were registered this morning. You need a QR code and ID just to get in the doors.
Wow.
Isn't that hilarious?
How many of the people in that video are the hundreds of volunteers?
Well, that's what I want to know. How many of the people walking around in that room
he
up here
has more volunteers than he does have supporters.
How many of these people are volunteers? And
unreal.
Oh, Mark, you suck. You suck at life. Oh, just give up, Mark. Well, here's one of the volunteers right here. You can see him right there. What's funny is that last night, now this is what Pierre's rally looked like. I'm just going to run this in the background as we talk. This was on the way to Pierre's rally. Now, I'll actually pause it while we show here. If you go right where you watch where my mouse cursor is in the middle of the screen here, if you go all the way down this road to the end, bank around to the right, and around this warehouse that you see on the right-hand side, that just gets you to the start of where the warehouse was that Pierre was at. Now, these parking lots on the left were all completely full. Every parking lot to the left of this building.
Yep, people are parking on the street.
Were absolutely full. Behind me was parking lots more at other warehouses full of cars.
Back as well to see lines of people coming in.
We do pan to the back. I'm just going to let it run as we talk about what happened last night. It was absolutely insane. If you weren't there, God, I met so many amazing people there. People that
Your throat was feeling it this morning.
I had to talk like walking so much last night, guys. Telling people how much cowbell we had, and also doing a little bit of Donald Trump for the people. People wanted the Donald. They said, "Oh, please, please, Fringe, talk like Donald Trump. Where's Trump at this rally?" I said, "Trump is here. He's watching. He's very impressed with what Pierre's doing. He thinks it's fabulous. He's got a wonderful rally. I think he's going to do great. He's going to do fabulous. He's going to knock it out of the park, and he's going to be Canada's next prime minister."
It's great seeing the amount of support that came, and everybody was so happy and excited. It was awesome.
Smoke saying lots of people recognized Derek. It's nice to see. You know, I said it a million times last night when talking to people. I couldn't believe how many viewers we have in this area that recognized that I was there.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll see, like, there's looking further back. Now, let's pause right here.
I love that they're all waving.
Let's pause right here. Back here, up and to the right. Does that sound familiar? we're not doing JFK. This warehouse to the back here, traffic was parked all the way behind that.
Oh.
Like, this is a kilometer of road here, and vehicles were off and to the right here. You can see kind of blurrily right behind this blue truck. There's people parked all over in here. There's people waving vehicles into here. By the end of the rally, you can see these buildings off to the left. There were cars parked over here, cars parked over there. Cars were everywhere to see Pierre. It was absolutely crazy.
Wonderful. It's amazing.
I'm going to skip ahead a bit just so you can see. Like, now we're making our way further down this road. Further down. And this is where we turn. So again, this warehouse off to the right here, this big warehouse here is where Pierre held the rally. I thought it was an Amazon warehouse. It's actually right next to where this warehouse was right next to an Amazon warehouse. So I thought they were the same. I thought it was an Amazon. It is just an unused warehouse currently. Did the pleb stay till the end?
I think he did. He stayed outside mostly.
He was outside because, again, he didn't want to lose his clicks.
Yeah, his connection
and his views. I get it. I stayed outside until the rally was supposed to start. We were told the rally was supposed to start around 7:00. I wanted to make sure I was inside to film, and then we lost the connection.
Yeah.
I lost the stream, and at that point, I didn't want to start a new stream and then have everybody sitting there saying, "What happened to Fringe?" So I decided at that point to just call it a night. I thought I'd try to record what was going on inside, and then I ran into a handful of people, was taking photos, talking with people, and by the time I was able to start filming, or at least think about filming, it was too crazy to film anything. So I just took in a little bit of the rally, and then as I saw it starting to wind up, ran for the car because I did not want to spend 7 hours trying to get out of there in parking. What's incredible to note is that Andy Lee, as well as Marty up north and many others, came from Calgary to watch this rally.
And I know Pleb's been following around. He's been going to all the rallies. He's been doing a lot of traveling with this, which is amazing too. I love to see all the support.
What I can't believe is that folks like Marty up north and Andy Lee still had to drive back to Calgary
at 11 o'clock.
At 10, 11 at night, and they probably didn't get home till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Absolute troopers. OAO saying Pleb had 18,000 on his live stream. I mean,
it was insane.
That's crazy. Marco, the $5 super chat on the ground. Pierre is dominating, but the polls tell a different story. Why the disconnect? How is this possible? Well, if you saw the video that got completely shadow banned this morning because I put Winnie the Pooh on it, we're talking about how Mark Carney has been adopted by China. And there's interference, of course, promoting Mark Carney. And that's part of the polls.
Yeah.
What you'll notice is Elevate Podcast also did a video recently talking about how there was documentation that showed Quebec and Alberta had been omitted from polling companies because they wanted to make sure that it looked more positive for the Liberals. They wanted to prop up the Liberals. And I've been saying this from day one. Don't pay any attention to the polls. The polls are nothing but schmutz. They're chutzpah. Is that how the Jews say it? I'm not a Jew, but I love their terms. I love how they get those hucks in there.
I can't even do those.
James saying rigged polls. There we go.
Of course, rigged polls, because they want you to fear that it's going to the Liberal side, so you don't vote because you think your vote doesn't matter, but it does. It really,
absolutely
really does.
In this election in particular, it does. Pimping a lot saying I already voted for Pierre. Yeah. Excellent to hear.
So we did hear from a friend the other day who had voted in Ottawa and said that they didn't take ID and they used pencil. She was going to look into getting us proof of that.
But again, I've told people, don't take photos of your votes.
No.
Don't put them online. It invalidates your vote if they know who you are, if they
Yeah.
find out who you are. Please don't do any of that stuff.
No, but
Please
it's
don't.
insane.
Ingrid saying, I'm Jewish. Well, Shabbat Shalom. I hope I didn't say that incorrectly and offend people. This guy was telling people to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. It was great. I had my own announcer team there walking up to the venue. Now, again, like here we are still walking. Still walking. So this is 14 minutes in. 14 minutes of walking.
That was a good walk.
And I was walking at a pretty good pace because I was worried the line was going to be too long to get in on time. This is crazy. Now, this warehouse, I mean, look at the size of this warehouse. And it was absolutely packed to the nines. Marco with the $2 super chat. Agree. I feel like Trump 2016 win for Pierre.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. I think what Mark Carney's pulling here is the Kamala moment. It's going to be, oh, look, I got Mike Myers endorsing me. I've got all this. Here's where my gimbal started getting all screwy on me. We'll move it forward. So again, we're still walking. Yeah, Mark Carney's all smoke and mirrors, guys. It's not where, okay.
15,000 to not even 1,000. I mean, you can't compare to those numbers, really.
We're at 20 minutes here. 20 minutes. And we're just getting around the building. Just getting around the building. Ragin saying the pleb hit 17K was awesome. Guy, what about the Fringe? We set a viewer record last night. Don't forget that. The Fringe
was awesome.
Over 3,000. Now people say, 3,000 compared to the pleb.
Hey.
The pleb's got 250,000 subscribers. This channel, I'm shocked we didn't gain a lot more. Over almost 100,000 views on the live stream, as well as a few hundred subscribers. Guys, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit it, please. We'd like to get that silver play button so my kids can jump and cheer. We're doing it for the kids, guys. So hit that subscribe button.
There's your guilt right there.
But we hit a live stream goal last night with 3,000 viewers at a time.
Yeah.
And before that, I think the highest we ever hit was 1,200, 1,300, somewhere around there. So more than doubled our record.
Again, we've got a few people asking. This is the Edmonton rally.
So this is the Edmonton rally. We're just reviewing on our way in what the electricity was like, and we're going to rewatch Pierre's entire rally because a lot of people missed it because any of us filming on the grounds couldn't film the rally.
Where is Pierre tonight? Is he doing another one tonight?
I believe he's in Sault Ste. Marie tonight, and he was doing a rally tonight. How come Mrs. Fringe didn't go to the rally?
Mrs. Fringe had to stay home with the kids.
Yeah,
they kind of need to be watched.
We contemplated a sitter, but it was our kid's first day at school yesterday.
So they just kind of needed.
The wife wanted to spend some time with them. We didn't want to, don't forget, as soon as I picked those kids up from school, I basically dropped them off at home
and ran,
hopped in the car and moved to the rally. So we didn't want to just abandon the kids after their first day of school and say, hey, we're going to a rally. See you guys later.
Sorry, we're more important.
Ingrid saying the Sault Ste. Marie rally was really big as well. I was watching. I'm glad. That's good
awesome
to hear.
I love all the support he's getting. It's just amazing. It's almost like getting Canada back. It's just a good feeling.
Well, I was just about to touch on that. I just want to get what Becca says here. Sault Ste. Marie, and then tomorrow Brampton, and next day Windsor, Ontario.
Nice.
There you go. I want to see records at those rallies. I'd
100%.
love to see,
especially the ones in Ontario. I'd really like to see the numbers high in there.
I'd like to see the momentum continue.
Yeah.
But one of the things that people were talking about in this lineup, here, this guy came over for a photo. One of the things that I was talking about last night when we were waiting to get in here was that this reminded me the spirit of the Freedom Convoy.
100% it did. It was
people
good.
Chanting "O Canada," people with their flags, people screaming for a blue wave for Pierre, for PM. Get rid of the Liberals. Get rid of Mark Carney.
So amazing last night, and all the support you were getting from videoing it. It's just so amazing to see it.
It really was an unbelievable event. Nothing like anybody had ever seen. And again, it surprised me because Edmonton is notoriously known for voting New Democrat.
Yeah,
they're woke. No offense to anybody who lives in Edmonton who isn't, but you can agree it's a mostly woke city. It's fallen to woke policies and woke leadership. So what we're seeing here is a turnout of not just rural Albertans, but Edmontonians as well that are looking for change. They want.
Amazing. I was not expecting those huge numbers for this area. It was so amazing to see. 15,000 is unreal.
It really showed how sick and tired of the Liberals everybody is. And again, the spirit of Canada was alive and kicking at this event. You can see the pleb up here coming up. Again, we were filming the line. I knew the pleb was coming.
Yeah.
Not just breathing heavy, but here he comes. He's moving down the line. Now, again, we ran into the pleb right about here. There he is. He was filming on his way outside, and he just ran into Marty up north. So I didn't run into Marty up north last night. I didn't see really anybody else that I knew aside from Eva Chipiuk. I know Stephanie Kusi was there. I know a lot of other MPs were there that again, I've chatted with since starting out on YouTube or since How the Prime Minister Stole Freedom. And unfortunately, I didn't even see any of them because you couldn't get near the stage where Pierre was going to be talking.
There was just so many people.
It was absolutely crazy. What's funny is as we moved up here, CBC was outside of the rally.
I wish you'd have gone over and
everybody
talked
kept
to them.
saying, I jokingly said I should go over and troll them and ask them, you know, how's it going to feel to be unemployed in the next month? But the problem is shortly before here, and you'll see it, I filmed a guy getting arrested at the event. There were police there. They were really on their toes. I didn't want to do anything, especially with the CBC, that was going to cause anybody to put their arms up and say, get rid of this guy, or to have a bigger problem. I really would have loved to. I honestly would have loved to have trolled the CBC. I debated it a few times, even as I was leaving the rally and they were still outside. I was debating, okay, do I just go up and film a clip where I'm yelling at them and put it on YouTube? I just didn't want to push my luck, guys. So I'm sorry.
When we get a second vehicle, I'm going to let you push that one in.
Jay Peterson, $5 super chat. So he is done in Edmonton. That's why he's trying to get back in with the Liberals. I don't blame him. I mean, he's trying to cover his ass. He's gotten so many contracts for his brother under his corrupt regime. Absolutely. John saying, yeah, CBC would have had the cops push you out. And that was the problem. I heard rumors, and I mentioned it here, of people being turned away that had F. Carney flags, people who had certain things, certain messaging
they
were turned away.
Specific, but I mean, they're televising this as well. They were recording it.
Well, Pierre was recording it, but they don't want anything that's going to get them in shit.
No.
And I understand that aspect of it. A lot of people were like,
has an image he's got to pertain for this. So,
well, especially this close to the election.
Yeah.
I'm going to let that slide.
Because Liberals, I mean, you know, the other side, they're going to find anything and everything they can to go against him, right?
Arthur OK gifting 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome to all 5 of our brand new Patriots. Thank you so much, Arthur, for that. Very generous of you guys. Again, this rally was absolutely crazy.
Oh,
now,
people saying you just walked by his truck. That's awesome.
I just walked.
What time did you get there to park that close?
So here's where the stream kind of went out, and you can see it here. Going inside. Now, this was again shortly before the rally. You can see the Canada flag here. Off to the right was where a lot of people were situated, and I guess Marty up north and everybody was to the left of this flag.
But then from that picture, that whole thing was filled.
This all the way to this. So you've got this first yellow column here on my right, and then the second one is about where it filled up to. But it was just, that's unbelievable when you look at the size and scale of this warehouse.
So Maple Kitty got there at 1:30 to park that close. That's crazy.
1:30 to get that close. That's disgustingly crazy.
That's dedication.
That's a lot of dedication. We went back outside. I went back outside to show
the people
how big. Like, look at it. They just kept coming. It was like
everybody's so happy to be there.
Do you guys ever watch The Walking Dead? Like, this is what it looked like. It was like The Walking Dead. They just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. They're like, I always thought that if I was very resourceful, I could survive a zombie apocalypse. No. After seeing these droves last night, nah, I'd be dead in about 20 minutes. It's
crazy.
Not happening. Like, it didn't stop, guys. Like, look at this. It just didn't end. Now, we stood out here for a little while. In fact, at one point, I wonder if I can pull it up in the timeline. Here's somebody with a Bring It Home flag that was coming by. Shortly after this, I ran into my dear friend Eva Chipiuk on her way in.
Oh, she was excited to see you when she saw you.
Very excited.
Right
there she
here.
is. There she is right here. Here comes Eva down the line. You can see her. She'll be wearing a pink dress. Here she is with her fiance. There's Eva right there. Now, I jokingly winked to her and said, "Do you want to have an interview?"
She's like, "I'm going in."
And she says, "No, I'm going in. I'm going inside. I'm not having an interview." And that's her with her fiance. Amazing people, amazing folks. Really good to see Eva there. It didn't stop. Like, I don't know how many times I can say that. Like, here's at the 57-minute mark. Like, we tried going back inside. It didn't stop. Again, as we got past the porta potties and went inside here, the signal broke, and that was the end of the live stream.
That was the end of it, yeah.
Unfortunately, now the pleb did stay outside, and the pleb did talk to people to get people's point of views, to hear what people had to say.
Which is awesome.
It was great. I'm glad he stuck with his stream. I'm glad people were able to chat, to hear what others had to say outside. Ken saying, "I wish I was there." Like I said, I wish
I was there.
I wasn't able to be at the Freedom Convoy, but I'll tell you right now, this was reminiscent as what I was watching on TV during the convoy when you saw the people coming
and
in.
good for pleb for being able to travel. I know that if we were able to, we definitely would be, because it is something. It definitely is an experience to be at these rallies.
Pleb met Pierre a long time
Yeah,
ago.
he's met
Pierre knows he's there. Pierre knew that all of us were there. In fact, his people said hello as I was walking in, where they were doing security checks. They usually do the belt checks and everything, and I just kind of emptied my pockets. They said, "We know who you are. You're good." And in I went. So, I mean, like, we all know Pierre's people. Again, I know a lot of MPs at those things. I'm glad Pierre had a chat, or at least acknowledged the pleb, because the pleb has been footing his bills. He's been paying the bill to travel around the country and film Pierre. I think the least he could get is some acknowledgement.
Yeah, 100%.
It's
and he's been there when him and his family have gotten off the plane and have landed and stuff like that. So pleb's done a lot of support for him.
Pierre joked with pleb yesterday after the rally. That's good. That's good. That's good for pleb. At least he got something for all the work he's put in.
Probably good old friends
and all the
by
support.
now.
That's what I keep saying, is that, you know, it really angered me when Pierre's people said that they had to keep an arm's length from all YouTubers, because
this doesn't necessarily mean that
we're the
Pierre
guys
feels that way.
We're the guys that toe the line. We're the guys that are getting your voters information. We're the guys that are promoting you. We're the guys that are pushing for you. We're a major network. When you look at the funding that goes into CBC versus AdSense that keeps us employed, it shows you that not only is millions of dollars wasted with the CBC, but it shows that your base is here. This is the people that support you, that push you. Of course, you should be talking to us. Of course, you should be on our channels. I've been saying it for a long time. So kudos to Pierre for chatting with the pleb.
I guess someone was saying that he has a private sponsor helping him out. The pleb does.
He does have a private sponsor. I know he's got a few things, and I don't really stick my nose in what the pleb's doing financially.
I mean, good for him.
I mean, yeah, good on him for having that done. And either way, somebody's paying those bills. It's not Pierre.
Yeah.
So it was good for Pierre to acknowledge him, to throw him a bone, chat with him. What's funny is all the liberal bots that jump into these streams.
Oh, yes.
The liberal bots that were all over last night's stream. They were all over the pleb stream. I know my mods had to.
Told you I blocked somebody last night.
We had to kick a few people out last night because it was just getting too crazy, too hectic. It's going to be like that until the election. But nonetheless, folks, let's show the rally, because you all missed it last night. If you didn't watch it today on YouTube when Pierre uploaded it, well, good news. Fringe has you covered. Let's go over the rally. I wanted to make sure you guys had an opportunity to see it, because it was electric last night. It was absolutely electric. I felt terrible because I said to everybody as the stream was going out, Fringe will record the stream. I'll upload it tonight or tomorrow.
You lied.
I lied. I did everything in my power. You guys saw the crowds.
It's amazing that Harper was able to introduce him and did such a wonderful speech.
An amazing speech, amazing introduction. And again, I can't get over how many amazing people I met with last night. Had the pleasure of speaking with. I'm going to talk about them in Friday's live stream, because I got a few shout outs to give on Friday. But let's take a listen to the rally itself, folks. Here we go. Let's jump in.
Wow, what a fantastic crowd. Thank you, Edmonton. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making yourself a positive part of the most important decision that this country is going to make in decades. Canada right now needs change more desperately than it perhaps ever has. And it needs someone to lead that change, my friends. As someone who had the honor of serving as your Prime Minister, I know that being Prime Minister is a trust. It is a trust to take this incredible country that our ancestors bequeathed us and to leave it stronger, more united, more compassionate, and more confident than we found it. That's what we did, my friends, but that is not the story of the past decade, and that has got to change for Canada. Chers amis, je me trouve dans une position unique pendant cette campagne. Je suis la seule personne pour qui les deux candidats au poste de Premier ministre ont travaillé. Et mon choix sans équivoque est Pierre Poilievre. You know, friends, I am in a unique position in this federal election. I am the only person who can say that both of the men running to be Prime Minister once worked for me. And in that regard, my choice, without hesitation, without equivocation, without a shadow of a doubt, is Pierre Poilievre.
Now, I love that comment from Stephen Harper. That was absolutely amazing. The room just lit up, screamed their heads off as soon as he said that. Delphine with a $6.99 super chat. Evening, everyone. Derek and Mrs. Fringe. I can't get a membership. It repeatedly says something went wrong. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm sorry. If you're doing it from a mobile device, I've heard sometimes there's issues with that. Hopefully you're doing it from a desktop or a PC. It's is somebody yelling about the guys? Don't be mean to the pleb.
Be kind.
Be kind. We're all on the same team here, folks. Let's continue with the rally.
I have known Pierre Poilievre for a quarter of a century. Since he was a very young man, the first time I met him, I could see that he was smart, articulate, possessing tremendous passion for our country and strong convictions about sound public policy. In 2004, during the time of my leadership, Pierre's parliamentary career began. He went progressively from a backbench MP to a parliamentary secretary, to a junior cabinet minister, to a senior cabinet minister, and of course, to party leader. And in all of those roles, he worked, he fought, and he learned. Because it is not just that Pierre excelled in all of those roles. In all of them, he grew. He got better and better.
I mean, Stephen Harper has charisma. If anything Pierre learned from him, it's that. And I think Pierre had that spunk beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
But Stephen Harper, I saw somebody mention in the comments that they miss him. I miss him. I wish he could have pulled through ahead of Justin Trudeau. It would have saved us a lot of hassle. Speaking of which, saving us hassle, Jay Peterson gifting 10 unacceptable Fringe memberships into the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Welcome to all 10 of our new members. Arthur OK with $10 super chat. Pierre set another campaign rally record, 15,000 people at the rally. And I got to say, Dragon's Lair is looking sharp as ever tonight. Thank you so much, Arthur. Really appreciate that super chat. Stephen Harper, Harper is crazy, knows how to work a room, just like Pierre. They're both a little crazy. They're nuts. Let's get back to the rally. How?
Friends, don't let anyone tell you that he was born to be prime minister, or that he can just somehow parachute into the job fully prepared. Political experience, elected, accountable political experience, and the capacity for growth with that political experience, that is what Pierre has demonstrated for 2 decades, and that is the single most important characteristic a prime minister needs. And by the way, I say that as the guy who actually did lead Canada through the global financial crisis. I hear there's someone else claiming it was him. It was, of course, our government, the late, great Jim Flaherty, and our conservative team who were responsible for the day-to-day macroeconomic management during that challenging time. And friends, it's no secret that our country faces today another historically challenging time in the form of the Trump administration. There is no sugarcoating that. But the bulk of the problems that afflict our country, falling living standards, declining employment and housing opportunities, rising crime, the growing divisions between our regions and our people, these were not created by Donald Trump. They were created by the policies of 3 Liberal terms, policies that the present Prime Minister supported and wants a 4th Liberal term to continue. Pierre has consistently opposed those policies. Policies that have put costs up, accelerated crime, left our wealth in the ground, and made our economy vulnerable and under America's thumb. And Pierre has, just as importantly, long advocated the positive alternatives for change, to axe those taxes, build homes, bring back jobs, get our resources to the whole world. And stand up to Washington from a position of strength. Friends, I believe that the challenge this country faces today from the United States, as real and serious as it is, should not be another excuse for Liberal failure. Instead, it should be a historic opportunity. That's how we've got to see it. An opportunity to make Canada what it should be. Internally united, internationally connected, a truly independent economy with the highest living standards in the world. And with those benefits enjoyed not just by protected elites, but by all the people of this country in every region of this country. do bring it home, friends, because that goal does not depend on Donald Trump. It depends on us. But we will only get there with leadership from a person who has an actual policy plan, from a person who has been right on all the big issues for a decade, and a person who has the energy and, yes, the youth to take us forward into a better, stronger, and more united future. That person has been my colleague, he is my friend, he is our leader, and he is the next Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, and Anna.
All right, let's turn that down for 1 sec because we just want to make sure we're not getting flagged for copyrights, of course. This is part of the reason I was worried last night during the stream, but what a speech by Stephen Harper leading into Pierre Poilievre. Snatch saying, you're right, we did fail to grow. Absolutely, we did. This is what makes Pierre Poilievre the champion of this election, is that he actually cares about fixing this country, unlike Mark Carney. Again, I question with Mark Carney how he can run when the watchdog has already called out that he's compromised by China. So what does that say about our elections? What does that say about how we move forward? If you think that my news this morning about Mark Carney being compromised, it goes further than just Mark Carney. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Watch tomorrow morning, folks. I've got another video dropping tomorrow morning on further corruption from the CCP in our elections. Here you can see, is that Anita? I think this is Anita Poilievre getting on stage. Pierre, of course, bringing his children with him. I mean, it was absolutely electric. Has anyone said anything on immigration yet? Pierre's talked about immigration a lot of times. He says anybody with an expired visa is leaving.
Yeah.
Which is roughly 5 million illegal migrants. There will be no amnesty. There will be no begging for citizenship. He's booting them out.
Yeah. It's over.
How anybody can vote for Carney is beyond me, says David. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, how anybody could vote liberal right now?
What I don't understand is that how anybody voting liberal, when you see even again the government watchdog coming out saying we have reports that China's boosting Mark Carney, that they've been boosting his posts, they've been boosting his messaging, they've been boosting his branding. Like,
but the government corruption that have been found out for the past 8 years has been insane too, though.
It's so Kenzie saying booting them out. We'll see. Well, here's the thing. He has to kick them out. He doesn't have a choice. If Pierre wants to hold to his campaign promises of building more homes, creating more jobs, reducing our deficits, getting rid of the crime, it's got to come from somewhere. So guess what? That's 5 million migrants that are sitting in, what do they call them? Sanctuary cities?
Yeah. And we're paying for them to be here.
He has to kick them out or else those things don't get better.
Yeah. There's no reason for them to be here. Come back legally. He's not saying you can't come back. He's just saying you are here illegally, get out and take the right terms to come back.
Derek's saying it's all connected to inflation and housing.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. John saying they need to go back. Absolutely. Menzies interviewed people at the Carney rally. They were clueless. We don't want more of the past 10 years. No. Absolutely.
And there have been a lot of Liberal voters who have changed their mind in the past 6 months because of things that have come out, or that they're informing themselves and doing their research on what actually is going on the Liberal side.
So there's Pierre and family there. Stephen Harper raising his hand as the champion he is.
He has beautiful children. Beautiful
Absolutely
wife.
amazing. This, again, the room guys would have blown your eardrums with the screaming that was going on for Pierre hitting the stage. Absolutely crazy. Here we go. Let's get back into it.
Who's ready to axe some taxes? Who's ready to build some homes? Who's ready for some pipelines to make us independent from the Americans? And who's ready to put Canada first for a change? I think he's ready too. He wants to fight me for the microphone. Wow. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay up here. Cruz, c'est quoi ça? C'est quoi ça? He wants to steal my microphone from me. I think he wants, little Cruz wants to be prime minister. He'd be much better than what we have right now, I think.
So I just want to chime in really quick. Now, Kinsey, I'm not pulling your comments to try and demean you or call you out. I'm answering it. We couldn't even get the Humboldt guy deported. Now, keep in mind what happened with Humboldt. That was mostly under the guise of Justin Trudeau. That's the Liberals. When the court went through, when the decision was made, that was the Trudeau government. Enough is enough. Like, I understand people's frustration. I understand people saying, I don't believe there's going to be deportations. But as it was mentioned in the chat, and I believe the same. Now, again, I've said it before. I'll say it again, just so everybody understands. There's no championing of politicians on this channel. Yes, I support Pierre. Yes, I'm voting for Pierre. However, I've also said, should he not follow through with what he says, I'll be calling him out. I've called him out in the past, and I've been scathed by viewers of this community for doing so.
But a
saying,
politician,
don't rock the boat.
A politician is a politician, period. They're not going to make you happy 100% of the time either.
They're going to have to deport if they want to get rid of the crime in the sanctuary cities, if they want to get rid of the jobs that aren't available to younger Canadians that want to work, that can't work. They're going to have to get rid of the loopholed schools that give people fast track to citizenship. They're going to have to tighten up those rules. They're going to have to do it all in order for Pierre to fulfill his promises for his campaign. So I understand the skepticism. I understand how people feel. Again, we've been trained after the last 10 years to believe the government isn't going to do anything to benefit us. What you don't realize with Pierre, or what people aren't, I shouldn't say what you don't realize, what people are failing to realize, because we're so used to this, is that Pierre doesn't have a choice if he wants to remain in government once he's elected. He's going to have to follow through.
Yep.
Let's continue with the rally.
But speaking of prime ministers, let's show some gratitude for the greatest prime minister of the 21st century, the Right Honorable Stephen Harper. Prime Minister, it is an incredible honor to have you here on this stage. It was a little surreal, I have to confess. I remember when I met then economist Stephen Harper a quarter of a century ago, before he was even back in Parliament and running for leader. And then I remember serving with him for all those years as he took us through the tumultuous times of the war in Afghanistan, the great global recession. Always and everywhere, he was solid, competent, honest, decent, down to earth, a man who could, in the words of Kipling, walk with kings, but never lose his common touch. He is the greatest mentor I could ever ask for. So who is ready for common sense Canada First government like we had under Stephen Harper? And to be back in my home province, here in Alberta. It's incredible. Let's bring it home, my friends. Look, this has got to be the biggest political gathering of the 21st century. Look at it. I even have my mother and my brother here. Where are they? There they are. My mother's over there. My brother, Patrick. A lot of good memories from Edmonton. You know, a lot of them are not entirely good because I grew up a Flames fan in the 80s, so it could be very painful. We lost more than one game, both at the Saddle Dome and at McMahon Stadium. But we always used to love to come up here to West Edmonton Mall. We only had Chinook Center in Calgary. But my mom and dad would put us in the car. We'd do a little road trip up here and go on the roller coaster and that big ship, and we'd celebrate everything that was great about being alive in this country, that my folks work hard, even though it was hard times, they could afford to take us on little road trips. And they always taught us about the Canadian promise, the promise that hard work would pay off, that anyone who got out of bed in the morning and put in some effort could have a beautiful house on a safe street, protected by brave troops under our proud flag, that anyone from anywhere could do anything. And that's why I got into politics, to reinforce that promise. And in our time in government with Prime Minister Harper, we did. We left the country richer, stronger, and safer. Let's just take a moment and go back 10 years. 10 years ago, inflation was rock bottom, so were interest rates. Taxes were falling faster than at any time in our history. The budget was balanced, and crime had fallen by 25% because we locked up the worst criminals and left law-abiding hunters and sport shooters to enjoy their property. In fact, small towns were so safe, many people didn't even bother to lock their doors. Housing cost half of what it does today. I would know, I was the housing minister at the time. And you could rent the average apartment for under $1,000 a month. Take-home pay had gone up 10% above and beyond inflation and interest rates and taxes. The New York Times had just declared that Canada had the richest middle class in the world. Yes, when this Liberal government first took office, Canada was the richest and safest country anywhere around. We were a beautiful place to live with boundless opportunity. And yet, a decade later, what do we see when we look around us? Inflation, already having hit a 40-year high, is now once again on the rise. Housing costs have more than doubled after Liberals promised to lower them. Canadian homes now cost 50% more than they do in the United States, and you can actually buy a castle in Sweden for a lower price than a house in Kitchener today. Canada has the second slowest building permits in the OECD. Nothing can get built. We're very hard on entrepreneurs and law-abiding hunters under this Liberal government, but very easy on criminals who shoot up our streets and have doubled gun crime across this country. The economy is shrinking. It is smaller today in per capita terms than it was a decade ago. We have lost $500 billion of net investment flowing out of our country into the welcoming arms of the United States. My friends, This is the lost Liberal decade, and the choice in this election is whether we are going to allow a fourth term of rising costs and crime and a falling economy, or whether it is time for a new Conservative government that will put Canada first for a change.
So Pierre nails it right there. Right there. You've got a choice to make in this next election, and that's why I keep saying that this election is going to be one of the biggest elections of our lifetime. You either want Canada's prosperity, you want open trade as much as we can get, at least better than what we currently have. I don't want to say open trade, but open trade between provinces. You want Canada to unleash its economic potential, or you want to sell out to Beijing and have more years of Liberal corruption. Which do you guys prefer? I think I can guess what people want. Arthur OK gifting another 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. North 49 RC also with a super chat saying 100% Derek, all in the public eye. It needs to be accountable. We'll always hold politicians accountable. You have to. Even if you like them, even if you want them there, that's how you get better results. That's how you demand more from your politicians. Don't forget, this is a job interview they're essentially out for from Canadians right now. They're telling us why they're fit for the job. And I've always said that when they come to your home, when they knock on your door, keep in mind, it's not Pierre Poilievre who's coming to your door. It's your local Conservative MP who's going to be door knocking. Ask them the questions that you want answered. What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do to make my life better? In the terms of what people were talking about with Kinsey Kraken saying, how are we going to deport people? The rules will need to change. So the question becomes, how fast can we expect the Conservatives to change the rules so that there's less time for people to contest their deportation? How are we going to change the laws, and how soon can we expect them to change in order for us to say, if your visa's expired, you leave. It's done. It's over. Those are all concerns that we have. But now is the time to be asking those questions. Let your government know you mean business. Let's continue.
Après la décennie perdue. Yes, we are going to bring it home. Après la décennie perdue. Après la décennie perdue des libéraux, avec les coûts et la criminalité qui augmentent et l'économie qui est en baisse et sous le contrôle des Américains, le choix est entre un 4e mandat libéral ou bien un nouveau gouvernement qui va mettre le Canada d'abord pour faire changement. Now, the Liberals are trying to pull a fast one. They have a very simple strategy in this election. And here's what it is. Make you forget about the last 10 years. Everything they do will be about bringing collective amnesia of all the damage they've done. The first trick they've tried is replacing Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and a hand-picked successor, Mark Carney. Now, despite the artificially inflated resume and the more carefully combed hair and the banker's suit, there is no change. It is the same Liberal ministers, same Liberal MPs, same Liberal strategists making the same Liberal promises they have been making for the last 10 years. We know the results. Mark Carney has spent the last 2 months taking for credit for things he did not do, but refusing to take responsibility for the things he actually did. He was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor for the last 5 years, during which time he supported not only keeping the carbon tax, but hiking the tax. He opposed the Northern Gateway Pipeline in testimony before a parliamentary committee. He opposed that pipeline while profiting off of foreign pipelines himself. You know, it is no wonder that Donald Trump says he wants Mark Carney and the Liberals to stay in power, because he knows that as long as the Liberals are there, Canada's economy will be weak and reliant on the Americans. But guess what? Donald Trump doesn't get to choose our next prime minister. Canadians do, and they're going to vote for a change.
So that is the one part of the rally I wish was different. Pierre needs to get away. I understand who he's chiming into when he goes against Trump. I understand all that, but if he really wants to keep actual conservative voters at bay, he's going to have to get off of attacking Donald Trump, at least as hard as he is. What a lot of people are talking about, I want to address this because we were talking about this last night at the rally. A lot of people saying, I see a lot of lawn signs for Liberals around my area. I'm in Ontario. The polls are scaring me. I'm worried that, people are still going to vote, that it's going to be too close to call. Excuse me, I'm still tired from last night. I'm still yawning, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, I apologize. We have to take from all of that. When you look at the size of this rally, when you look at 15,000 people coming out to hear this man speak, and keep in mind, it wasn't just this rally. 6,000 in Penticton, 12,000 in Surrey, BC. These are places that are usually NDP strongholds. Pierre is bringing people out in droves to hear what he has to say. I'll say what I said last night, and you guys take it with a grain of salt, however you want to. But I've already said that I firmly believe that when you see this kind of energy, when you see this kind of effort being put forward to show support for Pierre, it's getting to be too big to rig. I think people's fears should come down a notch. Just keep the message coming home that we're going conservative, we're going to win. The only way, let's be honest, the only way Mark Carney's winning this election at this point is through shenanigans. That's it. It's the only way he's pulling this off. The debate in 9 days, folks, and we'll be live streaming that here. Pierre Poilievre is going to chew up and spit Mark Carney out like nobody's business. He's going to slap him around like a redheaded stepchild, and it's going to be so glorious to watch, because it's not a rally. It's not about how many people came out anymore. It's not about who's doing what to who now. It's about facts, and Pierre knows how to dance with these guys. He knows how to use the lingo in his favor. He's quick with the comebacks and the quips. It's going to be a slobber knocker. Pierre is going to absolutely dominate that debate. Now, I saw somebody mention earlier in the chat, well, people, the debate doesn't really do too much. People have already made up their minds. That's very true statistically. It's still going to be fun to watch. But when you see this kind of support, when you see these size of rallies, even in Ontario, I think a lot of our insecurities can be put to rest so far. So long as we keep up the pressure, as long as we stay vigilant, I think unless Mark Carney screws with the election, I think it's very much positive leaning towards Pierre, despite what gambling sites say, what polls are saying, what news outlets are saying, trusted poll advisors are saying. I don't buy any of it. Polls are just polls, and none of them are relevant until election night. Let's stay vigilant, folks.
It's not just Donald Trump that says it would be easier to deal with the Liberals. Today, again, the Chinese government was out campaigning for the Liberals, supporting Mark Carney, just like they did during the leadership race of that party. And who would wonder why? Mr. Carney, while he was economic advisor to Justin Trudeau, actually went to China to get his company a $250 million loan. A loan that his company still owes, and a company in which he continues to be invested.
Guys, do we only need 36 more thumbs up for free memberships here on the channel? Can you guys hit that like button down below? If you guys want free memberships, Cabron Tax Carson, one of our largest supporters, offering free memberships again tonight, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. It's free. You may be selected for a free membership.
We cannot trust Mark Carney to put our country first. He never has, he never will. We need an end to the long Liberal lost decade. It is time for a change and a new day for Canada. We're going to take back control of our economic lives. You know, we've all been chanting, bring it home today. That term, that expression has very real meaning. One, we're going to bring home our production and paychecks from abroad. And two, you are going to bring home more of your hard-earned paycheck. And isn't it great to have Brett Kissel here, the great country music star who sang Our Home. Way to go, Brett. Thank you very much, my friend. You got a message for people?
Edmonton and Canada, it's very important to understand the human being that Pierre is. The guy who's become my friend and somebody who truly believes in the future of Canada and understands that the past 10 years we've had have not been great. But Pierre is here with all of his colleagues and with all of his heart to make a significant change for a brighter future, something that each and every one of us truly want, not just for us, but for our kids and our grandkids. And Pierre is the guy to do it.
Absolutely fantastic endorsement. Speaking of endorsements, Cabron Tax Carson gifting 10 unacceptable Fringe memberships into the Patriots Club. You guys did it. You got the likes in there. Cabron Tax Carson, thank you so much for all your support that you give to this channel. That's amazing. What an endorsement from Brett. Let's continue with Pierre.
And our Bring It Home plan starts with a big patriotic tax cut on work, investment, energy, and home building. We will lead the charge to reward hard work by cutting income tax by 15% for the average worker and senior. This tax cut will enable our workers to gain more by putting in an extra hour, earning a bonus, or getting a promotion. It will allow our families to spend more money at our local businesses, giving us a boost at a time when our economy is weak and under attack. And it will ensure that dollars are left in the hands of the person who earned them instead of in the hands of the politician who taxed them. Bringing it home means favoring the things that are made here at home. And that's why we've announced we will axe the sales tax on all Canadian-made cars. Let's create some jobs for our auto workers in Ontario, too.
You guys get that? Axing the tax on Canadian-made cars. So if you guys buy a Canadian vehicle, say a $60,000 vehicle, that's almost $8,000. Or no, hang on. Let's do some fringe math here. 10%. 10% of 60,000 is $6. So roughly $4,500, we'll say. Is your percentage off? What am I doing here? What am I doing with 10% is 6,000? You're saving like a couple grand, okay? You're saying, God, I'm frazzled. It could be like $1,500. You're saving money. Somebody had mentioned, I saw, I put a comment up here. Shelley asking, why are the Edmonton Oilers supporting Carney? That's a good question. In fact, it's funny because, oh, Mrs. Fringe is back. That's good. It's funny because a lot of people have been saying, hey, Fringe, you're in Spruce Grove now. When are you going to get an Oilers jersey? There's only one Oilers jersey I'm going to be ordering. And I was looking at it the other day. I've told Mrs. Fringe, I'm getting a Wayne Gretzky jersey. It's going to have 99 on it. Why? Because only Wayne supports Donald Trump. He doesn't like the woke politics of Canada. He doesn't put up with the woke politics. I'm not going to wear a Connor McDavid jersey. We're not going to be wearing any of those silly Edmonton Oilers jerseys. Only the great one, Wayne Gretzky, is going to be worn on the back of the Fringe. I will tell you that right now. No woke Mark Carney supporters are getting worn on the Fringe's back. Only the great one, Wayne Gretzky. I really don't understand why the Oilers are promoting Mark Carney. They can suck it.
Yeah.
Suck it long, and they can shuck it long and shuck it hard.
And then there's the famous carbon tax. Now, remember, up until only a few months ago, the Liberals were telling us that the entire planet was going to be lit on fire if we didn't pay a 61 cent a liter carbon tax at the pumps. They passed that into law, a law that is still in place today. But in order to make you forget about their carbon tax, 28 days before the election, they decided to hide it from the gas pumps. Don't worry, if God forbid they are reelected, the tax will be back by May 1st. Remember, the day they took it off at the pump was April 1st, April Fool's Day. But Canadians are not fools. They know that Mark Carney has openly said he wants a higher tax and that he wants it to apply on Canadian industry. That's another thing he and Trump have in common. They both want to tax our industry, Trump with tariffs and Carney with carbon taxes. Well, my friends, with me, there is no doubt. There has been no equivocation my entire career in public service. I will axe the tax for everyone, for everything, for real, for good, forever. And then there's the tax on our investment. Canadian workers only get 55 cents of investment for every dollar an American worker gets. That's why we generate in Canada 50 bucks an hour worked. You take our GDP, divide it by the number of hours we work, it works out to 50 bucks in US. In America, it's $83. So they're making more than 50% above what we make in an hour worked. Why is that? We have better workers than they do. Our workers work harder, but they don't get the tools and technology because we punish investment in this country. Recently, the Liberals tried to raise the capital gains tax to punish our entrepreneurs. We need to do exactly the opposite. And that is why
Hold on. Stop the presses. Ken, so Gretzky's a buddy with Trump and don't draw straws. Come on. Ken, that's weak. Don't do that. No, Gretzky's not friends with Mark Carney. He doesn't like Mark Carney. Wayne Gretzky's a true Canadian patriot. He doesn't like Mark Carney. He gets along with Donald Trump, not Mark Carney. Come on, don't grasp at straws like that. Don't be that guy, Ken. Come on. Let's go. Let's get back.
I have announced the Canada First reinvestment tax cut. Zero capital gains tax when you reinvest your gains in Canada to bring it home. Bring it home. And then there's the worst tax of all, the inflation tax. Now, inflation tax is when the government doesn't want you to know they're taking your money. So instead of passing a law to raise your burden out in the open, they just print more money to fund their irresponsible spending. This floods the economy with cheap cash. So in a 4-year period, while Mark Carney was the economic advisor to Justin Trudeau, the money supply grew from $1.8 trillion to $2.5 trillion, a 40% increase in the amount of bills, coins, and bank deposits, during which time the real economy grew by 4%. So the money grew 10 times faster than the stuff that money buys. If you have an economy with 10 apples and $10, it's $1 an apple. Double the dollars to 20, but still have 10 apples, you're not twice as rich. It's just each apple now costs twice as much. That's inflation. Now, it's great news if you work for Brookfield, right? Because that inflation, according to the CEO of Brookfield and best buddy of Mark Carney, that inflation allowed them to raise rent on tenants, allowed their assets to be artificially inflated, allowed...
I'm just Ken. The truth hurts. Do you have any proof that Wayne Gretzky is friends with Mark Carney? Come on. That's such a terrible. Who's Gretzky? Is he running? Cannot care less about him. There you go. I mean, like, come on, guys. Let's not be that way in the chat. Come on, guys. We got common sense people here. Ken, I'm not trying to trash you. You've been here a long time. Guys, don't be mean to Ken. Just come on, though. Come on, Ken.
Them to fill their pockets by sitting on their big assets. Meanwhile, the working class wage and the seniors' pension gets chewed up. It's not that things cost more, it's that your money is worth less. It is a transfer of wealth from the have-nots to the have-yachts. And it is the worst kind of tax possible. When I'm Prime Minister, we will cut back on the spending that causes inflation in the first place. We will cut bureaucracy, consultants, handouts to corporate insiders, and we will cut foreign aid to dictators, terrorists, and global bureaucracies to bring our money home. And we'll bring in a common sense law. My mother is here. She used to have those coupon books. Did you ever have those? Anybody have those? Remember when you used to sell those coupon books? My mother would drive clear across Calgary to go to a restaurant to get beef on a bun that would have a coupon savings on it. She knew how to squeeze every drop of value out of every single dollar. That's what our government should be doing. We should be getting value for money. Now, here's the reason that never happens. Politicians are always spending other people's money. While every other creature in the universe has to live with scarcity, the politician just passes the bill on to you. We will pass a dollar-for-dollar law. It requires we find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending, forcing politicians and bureaucrats to make trade-offs between this or that, or get a bargain on this and that. Because you've been pinching your pennies long enough, it's time for government in Ottawa to pinch pennies too. By the way, this was another case of something that Mark Carney got dead wrong. He was asked in 2021, 4 years ago, as a former central banker, are you worried about inflation? He said, no. I'm worried that prices might actually go down. He then said, but he hoped there would be inflation because he thought that would be very good. Well, just like on the carbon tax where Mark Carney was wrong, just like on blocking pipelines where he was wrong, printing money and causing inflation did more damage on every single issue economic of our time. Mark Carney has been wrong. He is wrong in the past and he is wrong for our future. And then we're going to tackle housing. We have the most expensive housing in the G7 after the lost Liberal decade. But most of the cost is just bureaucracy and taxes. That is why a Canada First Conservative government will lead the way. We will axe the sales tax on new homes to save you up to $65,000. We will incentivize municipalities to speed up permits, free up land, and cut development taxes. We'll sell off 6,000 federal buildings and thousands of acres of federal land to build. And you know something? It warms my heart to think of the beautiful family rolling up in their U-Haul to move into their wonderful new home in the former headquarters of the CBC.
Yeah, the CBC were fact checking Pierre on this comment, and you know what? It's so funny to watch them shaking their boots. Their jobs are over in less than a month. In fact, they'll be hanging out with Jagmeet Singh begging for gas money to get around the country because they're not going to have a TV station when this is all done. Now, Pierre has never said that the CBC will be out of business.
No, but he has said he's not going to fund them governmentally.
No, the government will not be funding them to be a propaganda arm. That's it. Why is that so hard for them to get their head around? Oh, right. Because they can't seal sponsorship on their own because they're a liberal mouthpiece for the government. That's it.
I love you too. I love you. I love you. I love this province. I think it's, we got to talk to a scientist or something, but I swear the sky is actually bigger in Alberta. I think it is. There's got to be an explanation. But that's why it feels like there's boundless potential in this province, and there is for this whole country. But we have to bring home our jobs to make it happen. And that starts by repealing the No Development Law C-69 to build pipelines, mines, and everything else. Then there's the production cap. Liberals want to cap energy production in Canada, while the Americans, the Venezuelans, the Saudi Arabians, the Russians increasingly dominate the global energy market. They want to push our jobs and production out of Canada. Now, there was some hope that Mark Carney might flip-flop on that, having supported bans on pipelines his entire career over the last 10 years. But he confirmed just last week that if he is re-elected as prime minister, he will keep the anti-development law C-69, he will keep the production cap, and in his words, he will keep 80% of Canada's oil in the ground. We're going to do precisely the opposite. A common sense Canada First government will repeal the production cap, remove C-69, and commit to the aim of approving major projects in under 6 months. Bring it home. And more than that, we got to do even better. We're actually going to pre-approve permits. So instead of waiting 6 months, imagine this. Imagine if we sit down, and we look at a map, and we say, well, this would be a great place to build a nuclear plant. Let's do the research and study. Let's line it up with the First Nations, the municipal governments in the province. Let's publish online all the specs, standards, and safety requirements. And let's pre-issue the permit. In other words, create a shovel-ready zone so that industry can show up and just start building things. What do you think?
Smart, really smart.
We have incredible potential. We've got the shortest shipping distances to Asia for our natural gas. And it takes 11 days from BC and 20 days from the US Gulf Coast. We've got cold weather that helps liquefy that gas, right? 25% cheaper. It gets cold in Canada. In fact, it was so cold in Ottawa last winter, there were Liberals seen with hands in their own pockets. That same cold weather is perfect for data centers. You know, these incredible data centers need electricity. Microsoft, Meta, Google, they are going to have their own nuclear power plants to charge up these data centers. It takes 10 times as much electricity to do a ChatGPT search than it does a Google search. So to power these things up, we have the surplus of energy. We could be using our gas, our nuclear, our hydro, if we could get the permits done. You know, artificial intelligence is all the rage these days. We have lots of artificial intelligence in the government. It's a bit of a different kind, though. But we need to cut red tape, federal red tape, and I will cut it by 25%. And every time a new regulation comes in, we will be required by law to get rid of 2 previous regulations. So the state and the power in Ottawa is always diminishing. We're going to unlock the potential of our Western energy producing provinces. And when I become Prime Minister, the era of Liberals telling the West to pay up and shut up will be over forever.
We've got the biggest balls of them all, says Pierre with that statement. Couldn't agree more. Ollie B with a $2 super chat. Here you go, Derek and Tiffany. Let's bring it home. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Couldn't agree more.
We have a new member as well.
We do have a new member. I should probably highlight that. I did in the chat, but Rockhead63 becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Gert was banned, so you guys don't got to worry about that. It's if mods could keep an eye out for those liberal bots, they're all over the chat.
Yeah, they're busy tonight.
They're busy. They think, hey, you really want to know what grinds my gears? Those liberal bots. They're bastards. Get them out of here. All right, let's continue. Here we go.
But if you want to build things, you need people who know how to build. We need boots, not suits. Do we have any trades workers in the house today? Got some trades workers. What do we got here? You're waving. What is your trade? What's your trade? Mechanical insulator. Very important trade. What else do we got here? What do we got? This guy here. Plumber. Yeah, you certainly know when you miss a plumber when you don't have one, right? What do we got over here? A welder? Excellent. Guy joins metals. Give it up for the trades workers. You know, Stephen Harper was in the trades as well. Do you know that? He was a cabinet maker. He had a really good cabinet, way better than the Liberal cabinet. And we're going to have another great cabinet after the election. But I want to acknowledge a great union leader fighting for the Boilermakers. We have Arnie.
So before Pierre gets into this, just to let you guys know, people were talking about Gert being kicked out. Once you guys cross a line, people get removed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all for free speech. You guys are allowed to vote how you want to vote, talk how you want to talk. It's when you come in here and trash talk and start attacking people and you step over the line. There's a line in the sand. When you cross the line, you're gone. F-A-F-O, if you know what I mean. Be kind, guys. You're allowed to have your opinions. I'm all for free speech. Just do it like an adult. Let's all adult tonight. Everybody adult. Let's go.
Stadnik, thank you for your support, Arnie. Thank you very much. Arnie, are we going to build some nuclear power plants in Canada?
Yes, all day, all week, all year, well into the future.
Right on. Give it up for the Boilermakers. Thank you, Arnie. Now, I think university is great. A white-collar education is excellent. But all of our resources in this country have been favoring one kind of education over another. We need to start to honor the trades. My government is going to put aside the funds to train 350,000 young people to go through apprenticeships, get their journeyman's ticket, and get working building things across this country. Boots, not suits. We will bring back Stephen Harper's $4,000 apprenticeship grant that the Liberals recently canceled. And I will be giving a big, beautiful present to every high school principal. I know education is provincial, but there's nothing in the Constitution that says a prime minister can't give a present to a principal. It's going to be a box about the size of this stage. In that box will be a module for how to do a pre-apprenticeship for every single licensed trade so we can get our 14-year-olds training for trades before they even graduate from school. And I need your help, Arnie. We're going to need these amazing union training halls to get our young people started, getting them a trade. I tell all young people, get a trade, you will always have a job. And we want you to have that job in a safe neighborhood. And so we are going to stop the crime. We're going to stop the crime. Over the last lost Liberal decade, we've seen record chaos explode on our streets. Just moments before I walked on this stage, I met with a lovely young lady, Christina Trang. She's here with us today. Her father was a patriotic, law-abiding, decent man. And one day, he was out for a walk in Chinatown, and he was viciously attacked and killed by a rampant offender who was once again out on bail. That same day, that killer actually took a second life. Am I back? I think it's a Liberal mic. How we doing, everybody? No? Maybe my...
So if anybody knows what's going, it doesn't know what's going on here. The speakers gave out inside, and Pierre, while they're recording this, again, the audio is still being captured for the camera, but it's not coming through on the speaker system. So that's what they're addressing here. For anybody who's missed that.
We back? What do we got? All right. I think, are we back? No, we're not back. We're not back. Come on over, guy. All right. No.
Check, 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 check.
Do you guys hear in the background how Canada broke out while we were waiting on this? Isn't that amazing? This is again where I'm saying this is a lot reminiscent of the days of the Freedom Convoy. The Canada we lost, the Canada we haven't seen in a long time. It's coming back, folks, and it's strong in Alberta. I'm telling you right now, Mark Carney wins this election, Alberta's gone. And that's not me threatening anything. No. That's you should have heard the talk. You should have heard the talk around this rally last night. People are saying Pierre is their last chance, their last hope. And if Pierre fails, even then, People are prepared to say Alberta's
Danielle
going.
Smith knows it. She's
Danielle
warned
Smith
it.
knows the writing is on the wall.
We stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Okay, so Pierre's a little tone deaf. We're gonna cut Pierre some slack. They should have brought Stephen Harper back on. I don't know if you guys know this. Stephen Harper used to belt it out over the piano. He would sing.
Yeah.
You know, you had Bill Clinton playing saxophone on his trips to the island, but Stephen Harper, quite the singer and quite the piano player. They should have had Harper come on stage to sing. Poor Pierre and his tone deafness. We'll cut him some slack though. At least he joined in. I'll give him that one.
Hey, thank you.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
We got a power outage. Power outage.
He's fucking.
We got a power outage. Can everybody hear me now? There we are. It's a little faint, but we're back. I think it's a miracle. All right, we're back with you. The power is out. There's been a power outage, but all right. Well, listen, my friends, we're going to power through this. We're going to power through this. I know that this seems like it might be a liberal microphone, but we're...
You know what Pierre Poilievre needed if he was going to sing, guys? He's got to have more cowbell.
Guess what? Guess what? I got a fever. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell. It's more cowbell.
Let's get back to the rally.
We're going to power through it because even under difficult circumstances, we need to stand up and speak out and make our voices loud enough even when the microphone doesn't work. As I was saying earlier, the cause of this crime wave in this country is the catch and release criminal justice system the Liberals have brought in. With C-75, a law that allows criminals to be released under the earliest conditions and the least onerous restrictions. This has allowed the same 40 offenders to be arrested 6,000 times in the city of Vancouver. This crime is entirely preventable. Christina and her family should still have their wonderful father with them. And that is why I am announcing today that a Canada First Conservative government will repeal the catch and release bail law C-75. There will be jail, not bail. But we won't stop there. But we won't stop there. My friends, we will not stop there. Then there's the house arrest law, C-5, which allows the same repeat violent offenders to serve their sentences in the comfort of their living room. We're talking about car thieves who can sit there playing Grand Theft Auto at their home after they've been caught stealing cars for the 100th time. This Liberal law has also been a disaster, and I am announcing today I will repeal it. Our criminals will do their sentences behind bars, and they will stay in jail where they belong. And then there's the drugs. We've been afflicted by a fentanyl crisis that has taken 50,000 of our loved ones. Just recently, I received a letter from a man who told me the touching story about how he held the hand of his wife when she gave birth to their son. And then 25 years later, he held her hand again as a police officer revealed the news on their doorstep that their little boy had died of a drug overdose. The rampant spread of fentanyl has been deadly, and we can stop it. We know how to stop it. We first of all have to treat the mass traffickers and producers of this drug like the murderers that they are, and we will be giving them life sentences behind bars. It's got to happen. Furthermore, we will shut down drug consumption sites near schools, daycares, and other places with vulnerable people. And we will invest in treatment and recovery, rehabilitation that turns lives around, gets people off the streets, and gives them a chance at a better life. We've lost 50,000 of our loved ones to this scourge. In honor of each and every one of them, we will fund treatment for 50,000 Canadians over the next 4 years. And then there's the guns. Thanks for hanging in there with me, everybody. Thanks for hanging in. Thank you very much, especially you folks up there. You have very powerful eardrums. You were able to hear me the whole time. Then there's the guns, illegal guns that are pouring in from the United States through the Liberal government's weak management of our border. Only 1% of shipping containers are actually inspected. And that's how the guns are coming in. We're going to scan the containers, hire 2,000 CBSA frontline officers, bring in watchtowers that can scan the horizon of our frontiers to keep crime, drugs, stolen cars, and other illegal substances out of our country. And I'll tell you how we're going to pay for it. We're going to cancel the ridiculous multi-billion-dollar gun grab that targets licensed law-abiding Canadians. The Liberals will ban every single hunting rifle in this country. Spread the message far and wide. What are you guys cheering for over there? That's a bad thing. Oh,
so I'm just going to interrupt. People asking why he's not getting rid of the consumption sites outside of the schools. Keep in mind, a lot of those are provincial. That's provincially funded. Pierre's talking about getting rid of the ones that they have the ability to remove through law by saying that these are not permissible. A lot of it has to go through the province. So again, anybody...
Premiers might follow suit.
This is one of the things I love. Now, again, I understand people's skepticism. I understand people saying, I don't trust government. I'm sick of the government. Look, I'm only saying this, and again, maybe I have a bias, and I've already stated that I'll freely admit that bias sometimes, as I've sat with Pierre, I've talked with Pierre, I've got to know him and his wife personally, and I like him as a person. I feel he has the best interests at heart for Canada. I think he's going to do a good job once he's Prime Minister. Now, there's also the reality side where I've said again, if and when he screws up, I will happily call that out. I'm not going to fanfare. I'm not going to idol worship. I just feel that when you look at the options we have going into this election, even if you're skeptical of Pierre Poilievre, if you're on the fence, this is a gamble. But is there really any other place to put your vote where it's going to matter, where it's going to at least invoke some form of change? You can't vote for the NDP. You can't vote Liberal. And don't even talk about the PPC. I can't even start to get on that one.
If things don't change, my 2 cents, if things don't change, they will stay the same. Yes, they will.
Yeah. Yeah, my 2 cents hits it. But we can't vote in a corrupt carny regime. We certainly can't make Jagmeet Singh the next Prime Minister of Canada.
Because things won't change with those two parties. They won't.
You have to hope at least that your vote is going somewhere productive. I know a lot of people that are PPC supporters that say, I just can't vote for Pierre. I just can't give it to him. I can't anything. He's not going to change anything. Try. This election's so critical to get rid of the Liberals. Just try one time. If it doesn't work out, I'll agree. I'll follow. I'll say no more Conservatives. I can't vote Conservatives ever again, no matter who's representing them. But this election, it's so critical that we don't rock the boat. And I mean that from a country perspective, not a voting perspective. This country can't afford it. We have to put our personal biases aside and look at the reality of the situation. We need to try to find a way to open up our economic power. We have to find a way to get pipelines in this country. We have to find a way to create jobs. We have to find a way to deport people. We have to bring Canada back from the brink. And if these guys don't want to do it, at least it's not Carney's Liberals.
Yeah. Because they definitely won't be doing
And
it.
that's when you can start pushing PPC and saying, look, we gave Pierre a chance. He screwed up. He shit the bed. Now let's push for an independent party to come in. I mean, they're not solely independent, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like a different, like not one of the big three. Then let's vote for change. That's what I believe.
Your speaker came on. Oh, wow. Okay. Now I know if there's a random cheer, what it's all about. I was just complaining about the Liberals. You guys start cheering. I was like, what the heck? All right. What I was saying is that the Liberals want to ban your hunting rifle. Do you think it's a good idea? Grandpa Joe's hunting rifle is not the problem. I want to protect Canadians from criminals. Liberals want to protect turkeys from hunters. Canadians will have to decide at election time because the choice will be between a fourth term of rising costs and crime and a falling economy under America's thumb, or a new Conservative government that will axe taxes, build homes, unleash our resources, and bring home our jobs so we can stand up to the Americans with strength for a change. And strength. Strength means that we must rebuild Canada's military, the Canadian forces. Do we have any veterans here in the House today? Give it up for our veterans. Thank you. Thank you for your service. What an incredible honor. There he is. Look at this fellow here. He has D-Day on. Good to see you, sir. Where did you serve?
In the Canadian Navy in the Second World War and D-Day.
A round of applause. Bless you, my friend.
He was 19 at Juno Beach.
19 at Juno Beach. How old were you at Juno Beach?
I was 19.
19. What a hero. What an incredible hero. Thank you, sir. We have to make this a country that is worthy of that hero's sacrifice, don't we? Give him a round. We will honor our veterans. We will ensure that the young and the old have the support they need for a dignified life. We will also rebuild the armed forces, cutting back on bureaucracy, procurement boondoggles, and putting the money into frontline support for our troops.
Here's a question I have for anybody. That veteran from Juno Beach, do you think that guy fought alongside his brothers in arms, watched them die in the mud, to see somebody like Mark Carney or Justin Trudeau come in and completely trash our country, to watch Trudeau Sr. do it one time and then for his son to step in and completely dismantle this country. Think of the shit that guy has seen. And we're disrespecting him if we don't vote for change in this next election. I don't ever try to pretend that I get to sit here and tell people how to vote. But somebody said in the comments earlier, if you're not voting for Poilievre at this point, you really don't want to see any change, and you must have a pretty darn good life. It's either that or you're a miserable son of a bitch and you really don't care about anybody having a better life at all. I guarantee you, those men didn't fight on the beach to have their country turn into this circus that Mark Carney has brought onto the country with Justin Trudeau. Absolutely ridiculous.
We will reinvest to buy 4 massive Arctic icebreakers. We will double the size of the first patrol of the Arctic Rangers so that we can reclaim our north. We will have the first northern Arctic base in Canada since the Cold War, CFB Iqaluit. And as my wife just reminded me, our soldiers, sailors, and airmen will be guided by a warrior culture, not a woke culture. We will expand our cadet corps so that our young people can take mentorship from our military, our veterans, and our rangers, allowing our youth to learn about survivalism, riflery, service, and country. We will unite around common purpose, common values, common history, and our common commitment to the Canadian promise. We will fix the immigration system the Liberals have broken by rejecting the Radical Century initiative that proposes to triple the population to 100 million. And instead, while we welcome immigrants and we had the best immigration system in the world under Stephen Harper, we want to ensure that never again does our population grow faster than our housing stock, our jobs, and our health care. And when immigrants come here with talents and skills, we'll make sure they can put them to the use. We have 20,000 immigrant doctors, 32,000 immigrant nurses who cannot work in our hospital system. We will create a national Blue Seal system so they can prove they're qualified, get to work, bigger paychecks, reduce wait times, the Canadian promise for them, just like all of us. And we will unite our country around our history. There will be no more tearing down our statues. We will honor our past. Addressing the wrongs of the past is not about tearing down our history. It is about building it up. Let's build new statues to other heroes that have yet to be celebrated. Let's ensure that everyone can be celebrated as part of this great Canadian family. Let's put Terry Fox, the famous 5, and our soldiers back in the passport. We will be a self-reliant, sovereign people that stands on its own 2 feet and bows before no nation. We will harvest our resources, trade together, build homes for our youth, secure our borders, protect our vulnerable, and stand up as we raise our flag. We are not a nation of tax collectors and toll masters, of bureaucrats and busybodies, of gatekeepers and grandees, of rulers and rule makers. No, we are a nation of artists and adventurers, of entrepreneurs and explorers, of workers and warriors, of pioneers and patriots. What binds us together is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that if you work hard, You can have a great life in a beautiful home on a safe street under our proud flag. That is the promise that I hold out as hope to those who are on the brink of giving up. If you are one of those today whose bank account and fridge have just both gone empty, my message to you is have hope. Change is on the way. If you are an auto worker or an energy worker worried about losing your job, have hope. Change is on the way for you too. If you are addicted to drugs but determined to turn your life around and looking for a place to get help, you are not alone. Have hope. Hang on. Help is on the way for you too. We are going to bind this nation together. A united people committed to our promise and expanding it to all under our proud flag. Canada first. Let's bring it home.
I mean, Pierre absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed that rally. 15,000 strong. Again, I apologize. I wasn't able to film it. I didn't. I look at those crowds. I couldn't get anywhere near.
Nobody could film it.
I mean, the pleb got a couple of clips while he was in there, but again, it's impossible with a crowd that size to get close, to get footage. Great points made in there. And I get it. Again, we went through a lot of points during that rally. We talked about a lot of different things. I know there's a little controversy going on around Pierre. I'm okay with that. You guys are free to feel however you want to feel. If you even want to just end wokeness, like Pierre is the way to go. Joe Lyman re-upping his membership for 3 months. Let's bring it home. Too big to rig. Thank you so much. Highlighted earlier as well, Carol Munger becoming a member for the last 6 months. That's a 6-month trend. We need change. Bring it home. Thank you so much for that 6 months here on The Fringe. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Let's do a little Q&A. Let's wrap up with Q&A. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
2 draws to do tonight.
And once we're through that Q&A, we're going to do our 2 draws.
I thought you were forgetting. I want to make sure.
I'm going to give a little bit of extra time in case anybody wants to join the Patriots Club before then. Become a member. That's the only way to get into the draws, folks. That's the only way you're in tonight for 2 draws that we're gifting any item from our shop of choice. So make sure to join. Let's get the Q&A going. Ask us anything, guys. It doesn't even have to be about the rally. Anything you guys want to talk about. I always like handing it over to you guys. OAO saying there's no memes tonight. No, we felt with that rally video. Again, it was very long. We'll just cut to the chase. We'll
Come back Friday. We'll definitely have memes.
Save the memes for Friday. Yeah. I know on our other midweek streams, we sometimes have memes, but again, it was a time thing tonight. We wanted to make sure we saved the time for Pierre. Let's see. Are there any, are you totally unpacked from your move yet? Says Airworks. Not even close.
And the house is livable, and a lot of our stuff is out, but
on the main 2 levels of our home, it looks like we've been here for a while. Everything looks sound. If people came over, they would think we're unpacked, but as soon as you come down to the basement, boxes everywhere, things untouched. Yeah, we got to get.
We'll get there.
We got to get there. But thank you so much for the question. Did you unacceptable Fringe? Did you get a picture with you and the pleb together? No, I ran into him. I ran into him on camera, and that was the last I saw of him. Again, we were both very busy last night.
Yeah.
Pleb was kind of all over the place. I was trying to get footage where I could. Again, I must have shook.
Doing the same, so
I must have shook about 500 people's hands and taken photos last night, doing the Donald Trump and a lot of Christopher Walken for people. But it was really great to sit and talk with our audience. It was great to meet our viewers and hear what they had to say. Amazing night. Absolutely amazing night. I know the pleb tweeted out at one point he was going to a bar across the street from where the rally was. I was gone by that point. Or else I would have probably joined him. Airworks saying, how goes the job search, Mrs. Fringe?
Nothing yet, but I haven't horribly been looking too hard.
We're getting a little unpacked first. We did put a little savings aside so that Mrs. Fringe had some time.
But I have been applying to some good ones that I've seen, just nothing yet.
Comment saying, does PP need to do Joe Rogan? I say yes. I would love to see Pierre
that
go
would
on
be
Joe
amazing.
Rogan. That would be absolutely fantastic. Barry James Cunningham dressed up as a Ghostbuster one night. So this is one of
Halloween.
our 2
Come
proton
back
packs.
in October, we'll definitely do it for
Mrs.
ya.
Fringe and I both have full movie costumes for Ghostbusters. Halloween, you'll definitely see it here on the channel. Luca, Mrs. Fringe, find work again or enjoying the free time at home?
Kind of enjoying the time at home, enjoying the break. I've worked for a very long time, so
And it's nice to be able to have Mrs. Fringe here more often when we want to do these streams. Luca, by the way, you still haven't emailed me from winning last week's draw on Friday. You've got until this Friday. Make sure to send me an email, screenshot of any item from our shop. If it's a hoodie, shirt, whatever, color, size, and the design you want, send that to unacceptablefringeyt@gmail.com. When is Pierre going to do a rally in Calgary, says Gerald Cooper? Probably not going to happen this time around. Pierre wanted to hold the rally up here last night. He's probably not going to get to Calgary because, again, we only got a couple weeks before the election. I'm guessing that with Sault Ste. Marie on the docket tonight, he's going to focus where he should. He's going to focus in Ontario. He's probably going to get over to Quebec a little bit and try and see what numbers he can get. Because, again, these rallies are more than just a pivoting point for him to talk to people. When you look at the turnouts, it starts to tell him where the voters are headed. If the polls are accurate, I think he's going to focus over there as he should. Let's see.
Arthur, looking for the Dragon Slayer interview.
OAO.
Stay tuned Friday. We've got it lined up.
OAO saying you posted about the kids' new school. How are the kids liking their new schools? They love them. I was so proud that when we went into my kids' schools, both of them, that they sing "O Canada" before school starts. In Calgary, they don't do that. They do their land acknowledgements, their white guilt, and then they move on.
And our daughter's taking French class. And she's the only one that doesn't know French.
She's the only one who doesn't know French because it's mandatory in her school, which is great to see.
Yeah.
One of the good things about their school that I'm really enjoying too is that not only do they sing "O Canada," but it's the non-edited, non-changed version. Isn't that fantastic? Suna Soul Silver, the $5 super chat. The roast on the CBC was fantastic. If only people post that more on social media. Defund Legacy Media. Thank you so much. I agree. Thank you for the super chat. OAO is saying, Mrs. Fringe, start a YouTube channel. You know what? We've talked about that.
I don't think I'm that interesting.
Mrs. Fringe is probably going to do some videos on the channel for us over here. So maybe some solo videos. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll hopefully have that coming out sometime soon. Have you guys thought of doing 2 separate YouTube channels to optimize making money? So here's the thing. A lot of people think that everyone's on YouTube to make a buck. I'm always grateful when we make money on the channel, but that's not why we got into YouTube. Yes, money helps pay bills. In fact, some of the shenanigans that are going around now, every time I do a live stream, every time I'm launching a successful video, I'm getting false claims of copyright strike against my videos. And every time I lean out to YouTube, they keep telling me, well, your super chats will pay for you because those come in from viewers. But the views from the videos themselves, well, we have to hang on to those for 30 days until somebody else contests your contesting of the video. And if not, then we'll give you the views back. So now I'm technically losing money for 30 days on a majority of my successful videos. Really sucks. But that's the bullets you take for getting the truth out during an election, I guess. It's the joy of YouTube. No, we don't get into it for the money. I always say, if you want to go to buymeacoffee.com and support the channel, that's always best because we do get the majority of those proceeds. If not, super chats, memberships, join the Patriots Club, get into our draws. That way you stand a chance of at least getting something back for your support.
Like and share.
Like and share. Too. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. We want to hit that 100,000 subscriber mark. Gerald asking, Tiffany and Derek, are you guys coming to Calgary for the Stampede in July? I think one day we might pop into town. With the Stampede. We'll see. I'd like to, but we'll see. I'll definitely let people know if we're going to be up and around there. Reg saying, I've seen many federal elections. This one has me the most excited since the first, my first VOR in 1970. Vote, I'm assuming that's supposed to mean. Do you feel the electric feeling? Yes, absolutely. Yes, especially after yesterday.
Yeah.
Carly Ray saying, do you think Carney will bend the knee to Pierre, or does Effrey Jepstein own them all? That's a great way of putting it. No, I think Pierre's just going to absolutely slap him silly. I think he's going to absolutely dominate this election. I'm hoping, at least. Sawboss, we need some serious help with mainstream media lies. How can we change the narrative in this country? Keep watching and subscribing to all your Canadian content creators on these platforms, whether it's other platforms
to share the truth
that I'm not going to mention because we're already getting hammered as it is, or if it's platforms like YouTube.
Yep.
Did they let them learn handwriting at school? I don't know yet. We haven't asked about
I know
that.
in their last school they did, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did in this school. If not, Mom will teach them.
Arthur OK with $5 super chat. Love me some Dragon's Lair. I love me some Arthur OK in the super chats. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Severo chiming in. Glad to hear the kids love the new school. Got to have you for dinner soon. We'll arrange that, Severo. If you guys don't know, Severo is the father of my illustrator, Kaide Knipe. I've known Severo since high school, so that isn't just a random viewer saying, let's come over for dinner. I don't want people to think that I'm all of a sudden getting invites for dinner from viewers. I'm sure I would if we opened that up. You guys were so nice yesterday. Everybody that I ran into at the rally, absolutely nice. Again, tune in Friday.
I got some because we don't know anybody here.
I've got some honorable mentions to get out on Friday, so make sure to let's see that. Question: do you get some of the money from YouTube Premium members? I believe so. Yeah, I believe YouTube on the AdSense pays out for views from YouTube Premium. I think there's a boost in that. Or extra given. It works out in some weird way. But again, when people claim copyright on those videos, I don't get paid for them for 30 days. It just sits there in oblivion. So it's really nice that people are doing that to the channel. It's always great. CB, are you going to K-Days in Edmonton? You can pan for gold. K-Days, I think Mrs. Fringe looks a little confused. It's essentially the Stampede that comes up here after the Stampede in Calgary.
Yeah.
Just no rodeo.
Yeah.
We'll see if we go to the K-Days. You know, one of the good things that we did here is we got the kids memberships to West Edmonton Mall. So we can take them to the theme park now and not have to pay anything out of pocket. All the money's been paid up front. So we're definitely going to try to get our money's worth out of that. So we may avoid things like K-Days just because it's so expensive.
So expensive.
And this way we just take the kids to the theme park for a day. They get all their rides in and we're good to go. Soul Silver is asking, how can Alberta be independent without a capable military? I can guarantee there are not that many Albertas that would volunteer to be one. Well, I'm glad you asked that. You know, Jordan Peterson touched on that when he mentioned that even if Alberta became a separate entity, someone like Donald Trump could offer America's military in exchange for the oil and natural gas that we'd be pumping out to America. So there are a number of things we could put in place. I'm sure over time we could build our own military. I don't know how we would do that. Please don't ask me the inner workings of that.
But there are ways around it.
There are ways around it. Let's see here.
Gerald Cooper, another one.
Derek and Tiffany, did you know that I paid off my truck today? Carol and I are going to Red Lobster on Friday night.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Paying off a vehicle is probably the best thing you can ever do because getting rid of that monthly payment definitely helps. So congratulations. Delphine with a $6.99 super chat. Mrs. Fringe, being home is looking so good on you. Great job, Derek, at the rally coverage. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Sleep is always nice.
You guys have all been so awesome,
Yes.
but we're over 2 hours into this live stream. Let's get the randomizer going. As I'm speaking, anybody who wants to become a member of the Patriots Club, last chance. We'll get that old randomizer going. We have 2 giveaways to do tonight because I promised one last night before the stream cut out. And then Cabron Tax Carson generously gifting another giveaway tonight. Again, for any item in our shop, you guys can go and select those. I will be doing a draw here right now. We're doing the randomizer. Okay, so Kenzie Kraken. Kenzie Kraken, are you still in the chat? Kenzie Kraken and KB North Sask are the 2 winners tonight from the draw. Congratulations. There she is. There she is. And there's KB North Sask in the chat as well. Congratulations to both of you. Both winners tonight in the draw. Congratulations. Congratulations to both of you. You guys, I'm so happy to hear that you've won. God, I should have pulled up a link for our store.
You
I haven't.
should have. You're
Well,
not on the ball here.
I'm not on the ball tonight, guys. I'm still tired from last night and all that craziness that went on. You can always go into one of our other videos and hit the shop button. It'll take you to our shop channel. But if you need to know, you can head over to unacceptable-fringe.myspreadshop.com. Any item you guys choose is yours. Just make sure you take a screenshot of the item you want, whether it's men's, women's, the size and color that you want, and send that to me via email to Unacceptable Fringe YT, as in Unacceptable Fringe YouTube, Unacceptable Fringe YT at gmail.com. Aaron Morrison gifting 5 Unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club.
Thanks so much.
Shout out to those 5 members that missed out on the draw.
That's okay, because we do another one on Friday.
I think Cabron Tax Carson is funding another one on Friday. If he is, you guys are in for that one, but you're also in for the one at the end of the month that we give away as well. So congratulations to our winners. I will put in here the email address. There we go. Unacceptable Fringe YT at gmail.com. If you guys want to send me, again, a screenshot of the item you want, the size, the color, as well as your shipping information. I should say that as well. Send your shipping information in there as well, so that I can make sure we get you your items as soon as possible. I'll get them shipped out as soon as possible. Congratulations to our winner, One Fast Dak, with a $13.99 super chat. Thank you for all your hard work and coverage of our election. You're more than welcome. Guys, tune into the channel tomorrow. I got more great videos coming your way, more great content on the rise. Shout out to everybody again that I met last night at the Pierre rally. You guys have been so kind, so welcoming into this new community that we're now calling home, and also to our amazing community who hangs out in these live streams. We'll see you Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central.
We'll be back here live.
Here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this stream. I hope you have a great evening. Look after each other. Keep your sticks on the ice. And for Mrs. Fringe and myself, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
We'll see you later.